Hi guys, you're welcome back. So today we'll be making this beautiful Edwardian corset. Guys, before we start the tutorial, I would like you to know that Edwardian corset is not like the Victorian corset that is well contoured on the bust and then on the under bust. Edwardian corset usually looks flat. Okay, so this is an Edwardian corset we have here. So I'll be showing you how to make this very structured Edwardian corsets are best for vintage looks. Okay, so guys, the first thing you want to do, of course, before you start making any kind of dress, is to draft out your basic pattern. So that is what I'm trying to do here. We're using this paper to draft out our basic pattern, and I'm just going ahead now to input my measurements from that shoulder. 11 inches is my bust, 15.5 is my under bust, 19 is my half length, which is my waist. So I'm just repeating the same measurements, 11, 15.5, and 19 inches, of course. And then I'm using my ruler to just, roll it out so you can see the lines clearly. I'm just ruling all the measurements I have taken so far. Okay, that is what I am doing. So I'm just going ahead to label it. That is the bust point, under bust, the waist. Then, of course, from this waist, I'm just coming down by 3.5 inches. You can go down to even up to 5 inches. That is the length where I want my Edwardian corset to stop. You can make it longer than that, depending on your preference, how you want it. But don't make it too long because of the boning, so that you'll be comfortable when you're sitting. All right, so I'm just going ahead to label there, just as you can see me doing. And I'm going ahead now on the shoulder line, guys. My shoulder is 8 inches. 16 inches divided by 2 gives me 8 inches. And of course, I'm going down with my armhole length. I'm using 9.5 inches here. But guys, don't use up to 9.5 inches. Use your own applicable measurement. So I'm just also measuring 8 inches, my shoulder, so that everything will be on the same line. I like precision. Let everything be on the same line. All right. So I've connected it to my shoulder, and I'm just connecting this line as you can see me doing. Okay, so I'm trying to input my bust measurement. All right, 38 divided by 4 gives me 9.5. I've inputted it there. So I'm just going in with my nipple to nipple measurement. As you can see, 4.5 is the nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with. So I'm just trying to mark 4.5 all through the lines I've marked initially. This is 4.5, and of course, I'm going to use a straight ruler to connect that 4.5 inches from the bust point down to the length of this pattern I'm making. Okay, so having done that, the next thing I want to do, I just want to go up from my bust point to 4 inches, like so, to that armhole. I'm trying to get the armhole curve. I'm trying to get the armhole curve. Usually on that 4 inches point is 1 inch. Just come out by 1 inch. As you can see me, let me show you. This is 1 inch. All right, so this is it. So the next thing I want to do is just to impute my neck measurements. We won't be needing all of these things for the corset, but we needed to draft out our basic body so that we'll know what we're doing. So I'm just taking 3 by 3. I just roll the line. As you can see me, I want to connect it to the upper one, just as I am doing right now. So this is it. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to slant my shoulder by 1.5 inches. I've marked my 1.5 inches. So I will slant it from that point to my neckline, just as you can see on the video. So I have my point A. Let me just write it. This is my point A. This is my point B. And of course, this is point C. All right, so I'll just go ahead. I'll connect my armhole. As you can see me, I will use this curve ruler. If you have your armhole ruler, is perfect for this curve. Okay, this is not my armhole, but it works okay for me. So I'm just connecting it, point A, point B, and point C. It gives your armhole that perfect shape, although this is an off shoulder, but we are drafting a basic body. So this is how to connect it. I'm done connecting it. See how beautiful the armhole curve is looking. See how fine it is. So I just want to connect my chest line. Let me see. I don't want it to be too low so that the breast will not be revealing, since this corset is not very contoured. Okay, so I think I just made it 7 inches. I'm connecting that 7 inches. This is a chest line. Okay, you can come down as much as you want, you can go up as much as you want, but just know that this corset is not very contoured, so it might not relax properly on your body, on the upper part. So I'm just taking that 4.5 inches, my nipple to nipple on the chest line, so that I'll also have a straight line like so. This is it. And then on that line, I want to start my contouring. I'm just using 1/2 inch on both sides. Remember, this is an Edwardian corset. You don't want it to be too contoured like a Victorian corset. So on the underbust too, I took 0.85, more than 1/2 inch on the underbust, while on the chest line I took 1/2 inch. I'm just going ahead with this beautiful ruler. As beautiful as the corset, I'm just going to use this beautiful ruler to connect it like so, from the bust points to the chest line, just as you can see me connecting. Also, you see the shape of the corset is already coming out, so I'm also going to connect it like so, from the bust line to the chest line, that 1/2 inch mark I made. And this is what we have, guys. You see our shape is already coming out. So the next thing I want to do now is just to go ahead and also connect it from that bust point to the under bust point. You know, we marked 0.85 on the under bust on both sides, so I'll just connect it from the bust point like so to the under bust. See it? I will do the same to the other side. You see how the cup is? It's not very curvy, it's not very contoured. Okay, on the under bust and on the chest line, that is an Edwardian corset for you. But you can make it more curvy if you want. All right, so we'll just go ahead and we'll input our measurement right now. The under bust measurements, I will input it. 32 divided by 4 gives me 8 inches. Of course, I'm going to replace that dart about 1.5 inches or so. I will replace it. Whatever dart you take, please replace it. And on the waistline, I'm taking 1 inch dart on both sides, as you can see me doing, and then I will use my ruler to bring it down from the under bust to that 1 inch, just as you can see me doing. You see, then I'll also impute my waist measurement. 35 divided by 4 gives me an answer, and then I'll replace this dart. Always replace your dart. That is the number 1 law of dart. I've replaced the dart that I took, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead, I'll connect it. Notice how I'm connecting it with the ruler from the bust point, and I'm going down to the waist like so. All right, just take your time and do it. Don't let it to be sharp. Don't let your waist point to be sharp. So I'll bring it down, the dart leg down to my length. I'll also bring it down, just as you can see me doing. I'm trying to adjust the line so that the legs will be straight. Okay. All right, I think I like what I see now is better than the first one. So I'll just go ahead and input this measurement. My measurement is also 38 inches divided by 4 gives me 9.5. I'll replace that dart. I have already replaced the dart. Then you see how I'm connecting it, because this is close to my fat. This is my upper hip, so it shouldn't be straight. It should be a little bit curved. So I'm just trying to see if I can snatch this corset a little bit on the waist part. As you can see, I removed 1/2 inches from the waist like so, and I'm also connecting it back to the under bust, and I'm connecting it back to the upper hip, as you can see me doing. Guys, you can snatch more than this, and you can decide to snatch both back and front. You can snatch up to 3 inches, 4 inches, okay? But I just removed 1/2 inches from the waist. All right, so now I want to have more panels in the front, so I'm just drawing a straight line. No drama, I'm just drawing a straight line to have more panels, and I'm just going ahead now to label it. Please always label your pattern. It's very, very important. Whenever you're working with pieces, label it in the language you will understand, to avoid stories that touch the heart, to avoid confusion, because by the time you finish cutting out this pattern now, it will not be, A will not be looking like B, B will not be looking like C. You will not become confused. You will not be start calling people to come and help you and see which one is the front, which one is the back. So please label it. Okay, so now I'm going ahead to draft the back. Everything I did for the front is what I'm trying to do for the back, except for under bust. Of course, there is no under bust at the back, so it's just my bust point, my waist, and then the full length. Okay, all right. So, but I think I mistakenly marked my under bust here, but I didn't use it. Okay, I didn't use it. We won't be using that under bust we marked at the back. So basically the same thing that I did for the front. I'm just connecting all of my lines, just as you can see me doing. Is very, very simple. So I'm just labeling it. You see how I label the under bust there, and you see it. I'm just labeling it. All right. Okay, so now imputing the dart. Now for this back, the darts for this back is more than 4.5 inches. Okay, it's up to 5 inches. I did it on purpose because I want the center back of this cloth, I want it to have space, or I don't want the dart to encroach on the center back. So I just shifted my dart because there's no nipple to nipple at the back. So you can shift your dart at the back a little bit, but for the front, you can't shift your dart because if you do that, your nipple to nipple will not be where it's supposed to be. So for this dart, I impute 1 inch on that down part. Yeah, the full length. I took 1 inch and I'm connecting it back to the bust point, just as you can see me doing. And then the armhole, I marked it, as you can see. Right now, I just want to do the I want to come down by 7 inches for the chest line, just as I did for the back. Okay, you can do it more than or less than that. All right, you can do it the same if you want. So I just did it the same, the back and the front the same. So I'm connecting this line now to the chest line, just as you can see me doing. I just want to mark exactly so that I will not be having an error. I want everything to be equal. So this is it. I'm just connecting it to the chest line, as you can see me doing. And then on this length side, I removed 0.75 on that length, the upper hip. I'm going to connect it up because this is a corset and it will have lacing. So you don't want the down part to be kissing each other when you start lacing, when you start snatching. So you have to remove a little bit, maybe ½ inch or 0.75, just as I removed, and connect it back to the bust point. Okay, so now I'm just taking my measurements basically. This is it. For this measurement I took here, I'm not going to be replacing anything. You can see me demonstrating. Just take your normal measurement. Don't replace that allowance there. Don't replace it here. Just measure your measurement, and the only thing you're replacing here is this dart. This 2 inches dart here. I've already replaced the dart. I'm just connecting the line so that it will be straight. Okay, so but you're replacing the waist part. Any other thing at the waist part, you're replacing it plus the dart. Okay, so I'm just connecting it. Don't mind the way it's looking. It's looking like armwear, but yes, it's because we've not taken our dart. When we finish sewing it, it will not be looking like armwear. So I'm just trying to get my where I will put my eyelet. I'm minusing 1.5 inches from the back. See where I am starting, not from the back, from that curve, minusing 1.5 inches. That is where my eyelet will start. That is where I will start. I will snatch from. So I'm just connecting it from the lower hip, or from the upper hip down to my chest line. You see that place I'm minusing, all that place is going off. This place I'm cycling, that is where you put your eyelets. Okay, this is where the eyelet will be. All this place, then just label it. See, I'm labeling my work. I've already labeled it the way I want. Then I want to create more panels because it doesn't have, so that the bonus channels will be more. Okay, so I'm labeling it. Please label your work very well. Label your work very, very well. It's very, very important so that you won't get confused. Okay, so what I want to do now is just, okay, I'm still actually labeling the work. Like I said, don't mind that the corset is looking like this. By the time you finish taking in all the darts, everything, you will be wondering, is this the shape? This is not the shape I saw when I was doing the pattern. No, everything has changed. That is the power of that. So even if your customer or your client did not order the shape, don't worry. By the time you finish everything, you will see that the shape is looking very different from what you saw on the paper. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just going to have to cut it. And then I realized that this front panel, I needed more channel, more boning line. So I just drew a straight line on the front. You see, I paused my cutting. I had to just draw a straight line. So I have more panels now. See, I'm labeling this one. I have to even erase other things I labeled before because I have increased the panel. Before it was 3 panels. Now it's now 4 panels because I added one on the center front, as you can see me drawing the other time. So I'm trying to relabel my pattern so that I will not get confused when I will start sewing it. Okay, so I'm still going in with my scissors to just finish what I have started the cutting. So I'm cutting the center front. The center front now is now 2 pieces. This is the first one, number one front. I did it 1F, that is 1 front. This one I'm cutting now is 2F, that is 2 front. Okay, you mark very well, and then I'm going to cut out the darts now. I'm cutting out the darts that connect 3F. You see the 3F there? That is 3 front. F means front. Then for back, I use B. That is back. So if you label it that way, I don't think you'll be confused when you're joining it. You can also use arrow to know where you're joining to where and where. And also use notches. You notch it. Very, very important. I am hammering on this labeling, notches and annotations because they are very, very important in pattern drafting, because it can be confusing at times. Okay, so I'm just trying to pack the center front, and then I'm just cutting out the back. This is the back now. I'm cutting it out. All right, so yeah, this is where the eyelets will be. All this place now is going. They are not useful. You see, I've thrown it away. It's not useful. So I'm cutting out the 1B. This is one back. This is the center back. I'm cutting it out first. As you can see, I labeled it 1B. I'm removing the darts that connect 1B to 2B. I'm removing it and then I'm cutting it. Okay, this is now the side back. I'm cutting the side back. This is 3B. All right, and then I'm back to the chest line. And then I'm just cutting out the armhole. Okay, cutting out the armhole. Then I'm also cutting out that channel I created. These are where I will insert my boning, because I will encase the boning on the seam allowance. All right, so these are all the pattern, the front and the back pattern. Guys, I finished cutting out everything and everything is correct. Remember, I snatched only the front. I didn't snatch the back. You can choose to snatch both back and front. All right, there is no rules guiding that. You can decide to just snatch only front and just leave back, or snatch both, but advice is snatch both. So this is the fabric I'm using. I'm just cutting it out. I just wanted to show you guys. This is it. This is me cutting out the armhole, and I added 0.85 inches allowance, more than half inch. Okay, this is more than half inch allowance on every side except the armhole part and the hem, where I added half inches, but every other side I added more than half inch allowance. Okay, see it, I'm done cutting out all the pieces. See the allowances, everything is equal because I measured it. I took my time to measure the allowances. It wasn't guesswork. I actually marked all of them and cut it. Everything is equal. All right, when you're dealing with corsetry precision, you have to be precise. So this is the wording I'm going to be using to interface this fabric. This part I'm scratching has gum. This is the gum part, is where you will gum on the wrong side of the fabric, then you iron it. This is a wording, in case you don't know what a wording looks like. And I'm done ironing it on the fabric, and the fabric now has a little bit of weight and stability. This is a corset. Corset usually needs you to, you need to interface it very well. You need to fortify your fabric so that it can hold the structure. Okay, corset is all about structuring. Okay, so now this is also the lining. I'm using the same fabric for the lining. Oh yeah, the same fabric for the lining. That's how we roll. That's how big girls roll. Okay, so this is me trying to arrange it before I go to my machine. I'm just trying to arrange it to know which is which. Okay, this is it. I'm joining this to this center front. This is the center front. I just want to pin it. Don't worry, you'll understand it when I'm done. I'll show you. I'm just pinning it, guys. Let me go ahead and pin it. Remember, the center front is open. I cut it open. It wasn't on fold. Center front is the one lying under. Then that is 1F. One front is the one lying on the ground. Then 1B is the one laying on top. So that is how after 1B, I'll put 1 3. Okay, so this is the third one, I guess. Yeah, this is the third one. F3, sorry, this is F3. I'm also trying to pin F3 to F2. I pinned F1 to F2, then I'm pinning F3 to F2. So when you finish, you actually understand. That is why I said you need to notch so that you just know where to put what. Okay, so I'm just trying to pin everything so that I will know what I'm doing. So I'll do same for everything. I'll sew everything, both the back and the front and the lining. Oh yes, I'm even done. So I'm done sewing it. You see how my sewing is precise, See the bust point is not so pronounced because it's an Edwardian corset. I didn't really contour it like I told you. Okay, so this is it. See the center front. You see how I mark. You notice that I marked it to be precise. This is a corset. Precision is very, very important. So this is this front. Now I'll go ahead. I'll join the sides. I'll also join this side to it like this. I'll do same for the lining. Okay, actually, I was already done with the lining. This is the lining. This is the center front. Notice that I sewed the center front together. I cut it on pieces and then I joined it because there will be boning in the center front. So I'll just go ahead. I'll open all the seams and iron it. The same thing with the lining. I've ironed everything. As you can see, even the lining, I ironed it very, very neatly. Okay, so now I'll go ahead now and sew my boning channel. This center front now, the boning will be 2. The 2 sides will have boning, okay? The 2 sides will have boning. Then other parts, you can just make it 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But if you have the luxury of bone, you can bone everything. You can bone all the seam allowance that you sewed. But 1, 1, 1 is okay. Only the center front is permitted to have 2. You must have 2 so that it will hold your bust very well, okay? So that place will not be bending. All right, so this is it. After sewing your boning channel, you just go ahead and turn your lining, turn it like so. As you can see me demonstrating, make sure all the allowances, they are meeting at the right point. They should meet. If you sewed it, cut it down very well how you should do it, everything should meet. Mine was meeting. So this is it. I'm done sewing it. I'm also done turning it. I even went ahead and added boning. Okay, see the center front now, I added boning to it. See, I added boning in some parts, but I'll also show you how I added the boning. Let me turn it so that you see the way it's looking now. I've not ironed it. Don't mind the way it's looking. I've not really given it a good press. This is center front. The boning is 2. See all the boning channels that I sewed. So I'm just going ahead to add this boning to it. This boning channel is half, is even less than ½ inch, okay, depending on the size of your boning. This boning is 0.3 inches, so I just added 0.1 inch so that it will have a little bit of ease. It will not be bending too much inside. It will not be too tight, okay? So the size of your boning determines the inches you use in sewing your boning channel. So for this, my boning channel is 0.4 inches that I sewed, okay? See how I inserted my boning. So now I just want to go ahead. I'm going to stitch this together. I'll go ahead. I'll stitch the lining to the main fabric. I'll just to hold them together on the down part, just to hold it. After doing that, I'll get a bias. I'll cut this fabric, a very long fabric. I'll just cut 1.5 inches and then I'll use it to turn it. Okay, so this is it. I just biased the down part. I didn't do magic. I just biased it. I cut a long strip of fabric, 1.5 inches. I use it to bias the down, and I've closed everywhere. So you see how neatly this corset is. It's so beautiful, guys. This corset is so beautiful and is well structured. So fine. I totally love the outcome of this corset. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed, please do well to subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions regarding this, you can ask in the comment section. Then this back is where you put your eyelet, okay? This is where you're going to punch. You punch this back and put your eyelet. Then you get a rope for it. You can get a corset rope, or you can sew one by yourself for your lacing. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.